So, France really thought they could keep playing the same old colonial game forever. Huh? Emmanuel Macron underestimated Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's bold, fiery young leader who doesn't mince words when it comes to France. And now, the so-called pride of Europe, the French economy, is cracking in ways that are turning heads globally. Karma? Or just the chickens coming home to roost? Let's talk about it. See, here's the thing. France has always had this attitude, acting like Africa was their little backyard. They thought they could extract resources, dictate policies, install puppets, and then just sprinkle around a little aid money while sipping wine in Paris. Meanwhile, African nations were left in poverty, underdeveloped, and dependent. And France? They smiled, shrugged, and said, C'est la vie. But times have changed. Ibrahim Traoré came on the scene like a plot twist in a messy reality show. France thought they were dealing with the same kind of leaders they've been manipulating for decades, soft, compromised, willing to bend. But nope. Traoré had receipts, backbone, and most importantly, the support of his people. He wasn't here for games, and he definitely wasn't here for French neocolonialism disguised as partnership. Let's rewind for a second. France's colonial history in Africa was brutal. We're talking forced labor, stolen resources, and cultures ripped apart. After so-called independence, France didn't really leave. Instead, they pulled a slick move, creating what's basically an economic chokehold, the CFA franc. Imagine this, African countries independent, but their money? Still printed in France. Their gold reserves? Still stored in Paris. Their policies? Still influenced by French advisors. That's not independence, that's slavery with a prettier label. And yet, French presidents from Charles de Gaulle to Macron acted like they were benevolent teachers, guiding their students. Translation: they were the landlords collecting rent on land they no longer even lived on. Fast forward to Macron. Oh, Macron. He's got this smooth talk, the charm, the photo ops in Africa. He'll smile, hug a few African leaders, say France is not here to exploit. But the minute one of those leaders dares to stand up, suddenly, France gets salty. Military bases everywhere, resources flowing straight to Europe, but Africa is told to tighten belts and manage debt responsibly. Please. The hypocrisy is louder than the protests outside the French embassies. Macron thought Ibrahim Traoré was just another temporary noise. Someone young, fiery, but easy to dismiss. Boy, was he wrong. Traoré is only in his mid-30s, but he carries himself with the confidence of a revolutionary. He called out France, kicked French troops out, and told his people, "We can stand on our own." That sent shockwaves, not just through France, but through Africa. Suddenly, countries like Mali, Niger, and others started following the same playbook. Leaders started realizing they don't have to keep France on life support. And here's the kicker. As Africa started pulling away, France's economy started feeling the burn. Energy prices rising, industries struggling, inflation biting. Suddenly, Macron's Europe doesn't look so untouchable. Turns out, you can't exploit Africa forever and expect zero consequences. Word on the street is that France is shook. Like genuinely nervous. Paris has been losing influence left and right, while Russia, China, and even Turkey are stepping in. And let's be real, France was addicted to African resources. Uranium from Niger, gold and cotton from West Africa, oil from the Gulf of Guinea. All that was basically their secret stash. And without it, France is exposed. It's giving. You thought you were the main character, but now you're just a side plot in someone else's story. The world is watching, and France's decline is not only visible, it's humiliating. And here's what makes it even worse. France lectures Africa about democracy and human rights. But let's not forget, the same France that wants to teach democracy was cozying up to dictators as long as those dictators sign the resource deals. They talk about stability, but what they mean is as long as Africa keeps feeding us, we're good. So when Traoré turned off the tap? Oh, suddenly it's chaos, instability, threats to democracy. Funny how that works, huh? It's almost poetic. France, the nation that strutted around as the symbol of civilization, culture, and sophistication, now struggling to maintain its own economic dignity. Inflation is up, unemployment is a mess, strikes are nonstop, and the youth in Paris are restless. Meanwhile, Africa, the same Africa they called underdeveloped, is rising with leaders who aren't afraid to call them out. France looks like that ex who thought you could never live without them. But now you've glowed up, got your own money, new friends, and a whole lot of confidence. and they're left shocked, bitter, and broke. The French economy being exposed is not just a France problem, it's a global eye-opener. Other European countries are watching. The US is watching. Because if Africa really starts cutting ties with exploitative powers and building on its own terms, that's a whole new world order. And for Macron, it's embarrassing. Imagine being the face of a powerful nation, but getting checked by a young African leader who refuses to play your game. That's history in the making, and the tea is hot. So yeah, Emmanuel Macron underestimated Ibrahim Traoré. He thought he was dealing with the same old script. But this is a new season with new characters, and the plot twist is brutal. France's colonial hangover is finally catching up, and the rest of the world is watching them stumble. The injustice they meted out for centuries, first under brutal colonial rule, then under slick, polished neocolonialism, is now coming full circle. And honestly, about time. France wanted Africa to stay dependent, but Africa is finding its backbone. And as for Macron, well, let's just say his little African empire storyline is officially cancelled. What do you think? Will France recover its influence, or is this truly the end of its grip on Africa? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned, because the story of Africa reclaiming its power is just getting started.